Hello and welcome to the NTI PodTalk. My name is Diane Kaler and I'm Director of Nutrition Therapy Institute. Join me as I talk to interesting people in the field of health and wellness, food and farming, and anywhere else we find conversations that matter to our community. By listening, you'll learn a little about NTI and a lot about the things and people around you that make a difference for your wellness. Welcome and let's get started. Hello there. Welcome back to another edition of the NTI Pod Talk. This is Diane Kaler. I'm director of NTI, Nutrition Therapy Institute. And I am so happy today to be talking to Sean Emery. He is founding partner of Holistic Consulting, and he's going to tell us all about what he does at Holistic Consulting and what that business is. So, Sean, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks. Thrilled to be here. And we've I've met a lot of people from the NTI program, and everyone from that program is pretty impressive of a person. So I'm excited for this talk.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, so let's just start off by you telling us what is holistic consulting.
Yeah, so I guess primarily it started off as a company that helps aspiring nutritionists get their board certification in holistic nutrition through the NANP. Probably more broadly, our mission is to help aspiring nutrition professionals create an impactful career in this field. Uh,
Hmm.
so I guess like that's like the broadest sense. What we've seen in our time helping these holistic nutrition practitioners is they'll go to the NTI program. They're fired up about learning all about the body, whether it's because they had their own health experience or a close family member, and they just dive head deep into all of the great things.
Hmm.
And they're passionate, they're excited, they're like ready to go. And then they graduate the program, or they graduate, a program like Purdue Global, and they're like, all right, now what? It's like I have the education, clients should start, banging down my door and like, let's get to work. And
Hmm.
so essentially we see ourselves as a company that can help make that transition from your education into a career that actually is making an impact, connecting with clients, working with uh, like-minded businesses, and essentially how can you make this the job that you love to have,
Hmm.
the career that you love to have, and that's fundamentally what we try to do.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that because that is so true. People come to school because they are very passionate about health and wanting to learn more about how to make positive impacts on their own health, certainly. And as they get that knowledge and as this passion grows, they realize that they have information that they can give to others and share with others, and they want to help. And, a lot, people who would come into this field, they do have that helping full-heartedness, I want to help others type of attitude and type of, personal characteristic. And so they dive headfirst and they go really headstrong into getting all the information and developing the knowledge. And same thing happened to me when I graduated from school. It was like, all right, I've got all this knowledge. Now what do I do? Like you never really think about that. And of course, we have a business class, a business course here, and we do talk about that stuff. But um, I still think, people get out and they're like, okay, well, great. So now what? And how do I actually implement what I learned, both the academics, the business stuff that we teach? How do I actually implement that to create, as you said, the job that I love to have? Because loving your job is one thing, but you still have to be able to generate revenue.
Yeah.
And that is important. So, yeah. Anything to
Yeah.
add to that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I just could not agree more. Like it's it's such an opportunity, like graduating from these programs, having this wealth of knowledge, I feel like we have this like secret superpower that we're like wanting to impart on the world. It's like
Right.
we we can actually help people. We can't say heal, right? But we can
Right.
actually help people, improve core frustrations in their lives and get to an aspirational outcome that oftentimes it's like, oh, like, imagine somebody with low energy who has some sort of, it's been chronically going on for so long that like you can help them feel a way that they didn't think was ever possible. Like you're reopening doors to their life that they thought were going to be closed forever. And it's like,
Hmm.
like the reason David and I met in our grad school. So just like a quick story of how
Yeah.
we got here.
Yeah.
I was in the Navy for about 8 years. I got out and took a job in a cubicle and was like, what? Wrong direction, about face, sprint towards anything that's not that. And what I
Right.
loved about the Navy is that the Navy gave me a platform. I was on a submariner, and so it was like really close with all of the people who were on the boat. The Navy was an excuse to help people improve their lives. It was like the coaching happened through the lens of being in the Navy. And then I got in a cubicle and I was like, there's no ability to work with people. There's no ability to help people improve their life. And so I was really into CrossFit at the time, really into sort of like the early paleo type movements in like 2010. And my wife and I actually started dating, and like one of our first trips was to Paleo FX down in
Oh
Austin,
yeah.
Texas.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. And so I started the gym, and there's always like a nutritional undercurrent in any sort of fitness endeavor. The gym became a jiu-jitsu gym and a CrossFit gym, and then a swim school. And so, like, really, you blink, and it's been 8 years, and I started this thing when I was 30 and went through this massive journey. And now I'm like looking at myself, and I'm like, oh, I guess this is what I'm doing as a career. I guess I'm like a health and fitness professional. And I'm always wanting to professionalize myself and professionalize my businesses. I talk about that all the time with my coaches. And I like fundamentally see the gym like very abstract healthcare system. I see the gym as like the primary care facility of the future. I see people 3 or 4 times a week. We're working together all the time. Like I'm knowing things as their coach. I'm not talking about like diagnose X, Y, and Z and
Hmm.
treat X,
Hmm.
Y, and Z, but I'm like, we're making you optimally healthy. Like that's part of the conversation here. And so I wanted to formalize my nutrition education. So I went to Maryland University of Integrative Health, got a master's degree in clinical nutrition. And it was interesting because like I kind of got there after having had close to a decade of entrepreneurial experience. And so there were so many people in my cohort and in my program who were like wanting to leave a nursing career, wanting to leave some corporate career. They're doing this part-time and then they just don't know how to connect with clients and stuff on the back end. And so 3, 4 years later, they do it part-time. They can never really get that initial traction. And then they just kind of fall back to, where they were. And it's like, it's just, I feel like that's like we lost, like
Hmm. Hmm.
the world lost a practitioner if we can't
Right.
them make traction at that like pivotal stage with all of the energy coming out of school, with all of the excitement that they have in their life. If we can't help them turn this into a career, and you said it yourself, like yeah, you don't you don't get into this world if you're searching for money, but
Hmm.
like you should be able to make a really good career that pays for your bills, that can support a family, that can, send you on vacation. Like that is possible in this world, and we
Hmm.
shouldn't feel bad about that. Like we shouldn't be at least I don't feel bad about that. I see that as like that's why we focus on impactful careers, because if you're making an impact in people's lives, then everything else is going to be a positive result of that. And so, long story, but I met my business partner, co-founder, now doctor in clinical nutrition, Dr. David Fuse. I met him there in the same program. He went on to teach at Purdue Global, and now he's the department chair of the Purdue Global holistic world. And yeah, so we work with a lot of people graduating these types of programs who want this to be their career. And yeah, that's how we got there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a great story, and I think there is definitely a need for it, and there is also a need for what we do as holistic nutrition professionals because the conventional kind of path that everyone has been on is clearly not working. And, seeing health and wellness through the lens of holistic, from a holistic lens and holistic nutrition, um, is so needed. And I think that's the other thing that people who go to school because they have a passion for it personally, that's another thing that they struggle with, is how do they actually get into this field from this holistic perspective? Because there is a very traditional, sort of conventional perspective of, hospitals and doctors give you guidance about, you know, what you should eat and all that kind of stuff. And it's very um, counting. It's counting numbers and kind of standard, like low fat, like all these things. And that's not what we teach. And so sometimes I think that um, it can feel like just talking to your friends and your family and your immediate community, it can feel like you're always going upstream. And so, gathering the knowledge, and I'm just talking through this right now to myself, but
Yeah.
gathering the knowledge that they have, that they get here at school, helps them to form the vocabulary of how to pursue that upstream, movement. And and sometimes it can feel like a lot to also have to gather the vocabulary of how to have that upstream movement in business, because that is also an upstream, against the tide pathway, I think, for so many people.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think what I love about holistic nutrition and what I love about like how your program teaches and really anyone who's interested in getting into this world, what I love so much about it is that it's true. You have to solve nutrition problems from a holistic lens, like almost definitionally. You take you take almost everybody and you have them sit on the edge of their bed and you say, what's one thing that you could do nutritionally to be a little bit healthier? And almost everyone's going to have an answer that at least moves them in the right direction.
Mhm.
Now, of course, there's, thyroid stuff and there's, you go down the rabbit hole of some autoimmune and there's some things where it's like somebody's like at their wits end and they literally are doing everything perfectly and they still can't find, what's causing their fatigue or what's caused, like, yes, those people exist and we can help those people for sure. But the vast majority of the people that you're going to get the chance to work with kind of already know what to do. They're just not doing it. And so, like, that's where a lot of the motivational interviewing, a lot of the holistic, like, okay, well, I understand that. Why aren't you doing what you do? And
Mm.
like, really, all coaching, I think, fundamentally is the same thing. Like, I get to live in a forest, and so I use this for,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah. I use this forest analogy all the time. Like, if you think of a coach as like a guide that takes you through the forest, it's like you can probably wander through here and find your destination, but you may not go the most efficient path. You may wander around, you may double back, you may not know the right spots to camp, you may not know the best place to get water. Like you'll wander through the forest and probably eventually get to your destination, but it won't be efficient and you're going to waste a lot of time doing it. And what a great coach does is they help you, they're guides. They help you get from point A to point B with a lot more efficiency. And so, I kind of use that framework, whether we're helping people in business, whether you're helping your clients in nutrition. It's an acceleration, it's like you can work with me and I can help you get to your destination faster, more efficiently, and with much fewer frustrations. And the reason why I can do that is because I've been there. It's like
Mhm.
from a business perspective, like I've built businesses. I see all the struggles that you're going through. And for me, they're not really, it's no different than, a forest guide walking through a forest. He's like can predict all these struggles and they're not a struggle for him because that's who he's embodied and that's who he's become. And I
Mhm.
love this analogy from a holistic nutrition perspective because we often like look at the person who's unwell as undisciplined or, it's like it's almost like okay, all you have to do is like try a little harder. Don't you care about yourself? And I think like imagine somebody who's a couple 100 pounds overweight or has a really bad habit that's driving them towards unhealth. They're extraordinarily disciplined. They're just extraordinarily disciplined into the habits that they've created for themselves. You know, take
Right.
an alcoholic. Like that's
Yeah.
probably one of the most disciplined people in the world because they wake up and immediately think about where they're going to get their alcohol. You know, how am I going to hide it?
Yeah.
You know, they're running a million calculations because they're
Right.
focused on a goal. The person
Right.
who's 200 pounds overweight just has the habits of somebody who's 200 pounds overweight. So really at our core, what do we help people do? We help people become and embody the person that they want to be.
Hmm.
And then when you become that person, when you adopt the habits of somebody who's not an alcoholic, then you're going to eventually, I shouldn't speak about alcoholism because like that's not exactly what we do. And that's like,
Hmm.
it can be a disorder type condition, but
Hmm.
hopefully it's illustrative of the point I'm trying to make. If somebody wants to lose weight, they need to embody the person that is 30 pounds lighter, that is 200 pounds lighter, and they need to engage in those behaviors. If you want to become an entrepreneur, then you need to think and act like an entrepreneur, you know? And so really what coaches do is we help you become that person that you want to become. And so that you'll start doing the things that that person does. And then slowly over time, you'll materialize the goal that you want. And
Hmm.
that's coaching, that's holistic coaching.
Yeah.
True. We're not just wagging our finger telling you, oh, you don't need to eat that. You shouldn't eat that. It's like,
Hmm.
well, why do you want to eat that? You know?
Hmm.
And how can
Hmm.
I help you not want to, not want to eat that? That's not really what it's about, but like how can
Hmm.
I help you adopt a new set of habits that are going to move you in a direction that you really want to go for your life. That's what
Hmm.
we do, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
It's exciting. It's like you get to help people change their life. You get to
That's
help
right.
people have the life that they want to have, that they've been seeking forever. And like one of the frustrations that I hear all of the time is like, well, you go on Instagram and you see all these influencers and they don't know what the hell they're talking about, but they make so much money and have all these clients. And and I'm like,
Right.
I'm sitting here, one of my core beliefs is that every frustration is an opportunity. Every frustration that you have is an opportunity for you to solve the problem better. And here we are, we have an army of practitioners who are trained better. We just need to teach them how to tell the stories that the influencers are telling them, how to connect to an audience like the influencers are connecting to their audiences, and then actually deliver something greater than snake oil. And so
Hmm.
it's like you can tell that story. Like when you see the influencer who doesn't know what they're talking about, don't dismiss them completely because what they do know how to do is to connect to an audience.
Hmm.
And you're not connecting to an audience. And the
Hmm.
reason you're not connecting to an audience is because you're probably not talking about that person's core frustrations and pains and how you can help move them to a place of aspirational outcome. And that's
Hmm.
really what I see most people who are getting into this world, they talk through the lens of like what I can do for you. Like I am a holistic nutrition practitioner. I help people holistically. I do this, I do this, I do this. And it's like, it's reasonable. It makes sense. Like you know yourself better than anything else. But the best in the world say, um, I help men in their 40s develop healthy family habits that last a lifetime so that you can without giving up the food and drink that makes life fun. Or it's like they frame it in like how I can take a core problem or frustration that you have and then orient the solution. Like I'm the solution to your problem. I'm not a
Hmm.
tool. I'm a car that can take you. I'm a guide that can pull you from, point A to point B. That's what we help people do, I guess,
Yeah.
at a high level.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And because I was actually going to ask you about what about the people who graduate and see all of these influencers out there, and maybe they don't even want to be an
Yeah.
influencer like that they don't want to be on their phone every day, hey guys, here's
Yeah,
the
right.
next new, the next new thing. Like that's not what they want. They're here because they're serious about this business and the knowledge that they have and the ways in which they can help. And I think for many of our grads, they see those influencers as not being serious and kind of,
Sure. Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So,
it's a
yeah.
mixed bag, and I definitely, man, like I was born in 82. I'm like barely a millennial, if you want to call me that, but like I kind of identify with Gen X, if you know what I'm saying. And so, it's like it's like, yeah, social media wasn't really part of my life until I started a business in 2013. And it's like, oh, wow, this could be really powerful and important. It's absolutely not a requirement to get to where you want to go. And by the way, like neither is necessarily being an entrepreneur, neither is necessarily like starting your own practice. There are a lot of different ways that you can like find an impactful career. We actually in at Holistic Consulting, and maybe this is something that you can put in your show notes, but we have a free 30-day course that helps teach people how to essentially systematically create their holistic like their holistic professional persona so that the doors open for a lot of different possibilities. It's like, let's look at your LinkedIn page. Let's have a cover letter and a resume. Let's be looking for job opportunities that might be synergistic with our core values and how we see the world. Let's also have a way that we can start seeing clients if there's an opportunity that falls into our lap. And it's like the way most people start gaining a lot of traction in this world is like through a patchwork of different opportunities. You know, it's like I'll do a little, I'll do, you know, I'll work with a couple clients over here. I'll have this, you know, part-time opportunity here. Oh, there's a contract here where I can like create some curriculum for a program or something. And it's like, once you start putting a few of those pieces together, then you're going to start meeting people and networking with people in this world. And then that's when opportunities just really just take off. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I forget what the question is, but you don't, I guess fundamentally, there's no like, if anybody like there's a lot of different ways that coaching can work, and I'm not of the mindset that you know you should say like, oh, here's my protocol, everybody does my protocol and everybody gets better on my protocol. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not what we do. We personalize,
Yeah.
customize the protocol to all of our clients.
Agree.
Well, ditto in business coaching, ditto in career coaching. It's like I want you to have the career that you're thrilled to have, you know? Like I just talked to a woman who's like approaching retirement. She wants a couple, you know, couple clients. So it would be nice to have some, you know, some fun money type income. That's different than where I was when I was going to grad school. I wanted to come out and I wanted to create the biggest impact possible. This is my full-time thing. I want to support a family. I want to be able to buy a house in a forest. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like what like
Mm-hmm.
I've got this life that I want to go. It's like different. One's not better, one's not worse. It's just what's right for you. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're creating a job for yourself, if you're creating a career for yourself that you hate, it's not going to last very long. You know?
Yeah.
And so some people, we had this client, Corinne, who is terrific. She posts like her whole business is on Instagram. It's amazing. She helps moms with kids who have eczema. She posts, you know, content about how to help those moms. The moms DM her. She works with the kids. She gets results for the kids. She posts before and afters. Boom, 10K a month business right there.
Wow.
Up. Doesn't even have a website. You don't need
Mm-hmm.
it. That
Mm-hmm.
works for her because like she's on Instagram all the time. That's where she gets her mom advice. That's where she likes to talk. That's where she naturally wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That wouldn't work for me, you
Yeah.
know? And it
Not
doesn't work
me
for
either.
everybody. Yeah, exactly.
But sure, yeah.
And so, you know, it doesn't have to look like that. It can be, you know, in your local community. There was another client we had who was in a real small town in Kentucky, and she wanted to kind of be like the nutritionist who could help everybody. So the advice for her wasn't to like niche down into some micro, you know, nuanced topic and become an expert in that and to find clients that way. It was like, no, let's do general nutrition outreach. Let's connect with the town doctor. Let's connect with the gym. Let's connect with all these different people. It's all the same. I think the thing that the current that like ties everything together is value. You know, we want to deliver value. We want to help people and we want to provide a service to our community, a service to our friends, a service to our family, a service to our like the network that we get an opportunity to be a part of. And through that lens, opportunities arise where it makes sense for us to work with individuals, to make sense for us to work with other companies, makes sense for us to work with other organizations. You know, like I was absolutely thrilled to get on this call with you because the NTI's values perfectly align with my values,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And
Mm-hmm.
like I love that. I love that I get to talk to your audience and share my passion for this world. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully if, you know, if this really goes as well as it could go, maybe inspire a few other people to take this on as a career because
Mm-hmm.
man, it's so amazing that you get Like there are people in this world who get to wake up and help people change their life. You know?
That's pretty amazing.
That's what the NTI does. Like
Yep.
you give people a foundation where that is a likely outcome. It's so
Hmm.
cool.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. I love seeing your enthusiasm. I have that same enthusiasm, so it's good to see someone else have it as well. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little more about your business, holistic consulting, and talk about what your clients experience. Like, walk us through kind of the journey that they would get at your with your business.
Yeah, so most of our clients are graduating or wrapping up. They're towards the last, 25% or so of programs like the NTI, like Purdue Global. And they're wanting this to be a career in some capacity.
Hmm.
So um, really what we'll do is we'll enroll them, we'll get them started. We have an asynchronous curriculum. So your program especially is like really good at taking theory and turning it into practical. We
Hmm.
just take that to the next level. So we've got 14 modules of the things that you're absolutely going to see in a clinical practice, in a practice like we train people to be. You're going to see people with blood sugar dysregulation, with lipid dysregulation, with hormonal dysregulation, with, I mean, the whole gambit of stuff. And so we've
Hmm.
got modules for almost everything that you're going to see. And what we do is like, we want to help you create a business that can scale and that is efficient and that like works for you the more you work on it. Like I see building a business like building a house or anything else. It's like literally one brick at a time. If you spend a year on a business, you should be able to zoom back and see some structure. It's like, oh, cool, we've
Right.
got the foundation laid. We've got some framing up. Oh, we're gonna start. And then it's like building a business is like, oh, now let's add a new room, and now let's add this, and now let's add that. The mistake a lot of people make is they just try to do everything all at once, and they're not really building systems and processes, and they're not building anything. They're just trying to like do everything all the time with no sense of organization and with no blueprint of what it is that they're actually, moving to build.
Hmm.
So imagine you go through our module on blood sugar dysregulation. We're going to challenge you to create a protocol that you can give to clients for blood sugar dysregulation. And I sort of see it as like the shell, the 80% shell. So if I'm working with you and your primary concern is blood sugar dysregulation, but maybe you have low energy and maybe there's some other stuff that we're working on, well, I can pull out my blood sugar dysregulation protocol and I can look at it and I can make adjustments to that for you. And it's like, boom, perfect. I don't have to go back to all my notes or whatever else. And it's like, I have that. And so you work through our curriculum slowly over time. You can imagine a scenario that's in the future. You have 14 of these protocols that are sort of like in your clinician's Rolodex, and you're talking with somebody, and it's like a lot of that work is kind of done. And now we have processes for like, okay, well, blood sugar and thyroid, let me pull these two protocols out. Let me look at these. Let's not do this. And it's like a starting point for your practice. And so we'll get you going with that. We'll get you set up with our live sessions. We're big believers in live communication, to the extent that we can make this feel like we're in the same room. We try our best.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll do business mastermind calls on Tuesdays. You'll come in. We'll do some one-on-one work to sort of like figure out exactly the structure of what it is that you're trying to build. And then you and all of the other people in the program, we've probably got 7 to 10 people on these calls at any given time. We'll just start working through business issues and we'll start having conversations that'll move people forward in their careers and where they want. Because really, building a business is knowing where you want to go and then solving problems that get in your way. It's like, I want to drive there. Okay, perfect. Well, there's a roadblock. All right, well, let's find a detour, and like
Hmm.
that's the process of building a business slowly over time. We need to
Hmm.
clearly identify where we want to go, and then we need to build the framework to actually get there. So we'll do those live calls on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we do grand rounds. And so you can come and you can present on a topic that you're familiar with, on a topic that you're studying, on a case that you've been, working on, and you can get feedback from everybody else. And then on Thursdays, we have office hours. And once or twice a month, we try to bring in guest lecturers and just sort of like continue the professional development and the conversations around holistic nutrition. We have a community group called Circle. It's like all of these that are starting to pop up, like Mighty in school. And it's like a closed Facebook group with a lot more stuff that we can do in there.
Mm.
And so you'll be a part of that community group. We help you with exam prep. We post job opportunities all the time. And that's what it's like to be a client with our business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you said it's asynchronous. So is there a specific timeline when someone registers? They have a start date, and then do they have a designated end date, or do they work through it on their own? And it's
Yeah,
like
so we'll
it could be
group people
never
into
ending.
Yeah, we'll group people into cohorts about every quarter. And so
Mm,
people who are signing up now will assemble into sort of like a early summer cohort. Once we get to about 10 or 12 people, we'll sort of like be like, all right, this is our cohort, and we'll start moving them together. We've got case studies that we do in small groups. We've got mock consultations that we can use to start developing practice as a clinician. And then all the while you're accumulating your 500 hours, we have an exam prep module that will help you, get through the exam with. And so
mhm.
the way that we tell people to think about our business is when you start with us, you're starting your career. Our goal is that this isn't just another year before you can start your career. Your career starts now. And
Yeah.
then along the way, you'll accumulate your hours for board certification. And along the way, you'll pass the exam. And along the way, you'll pick up a few clients that can help start, your path.
Hmm.
So there's an asynchronous component with a recommended schedule that takes most people about a year. Uh,
Okay.
People get through it a lot faster. Some people get through it a lot, with a lot more time spent on each module, really soaking it all up.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so about a year though is roughly what it takes if you're spending 5 to 10 hours a week working on this sort of thing. 8 to 12 months, I think, is a good expectation for how long it takes.
Okay. Okay. So, now you've mentioned exam prep and board certification. Just for people who are listening and don't know what we're referring to, the NANP, National Association of Nutrition Professionals, uh, offers an exam to become board certified in holistic nutrition. So, is is your program that we just talked about, is the board certification exam or the board prep to take that exam, is that included in this process, or is that a separate
Yeah, it's
standalone
included.
thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's included. So most of our clients are pursuing board certification. Not everyone is. Like there's people who start working with us because they really connect to what we're all about, helping people establish impactful careers. So we work with a lot of people who aren't necessarily pursuing board certification, or maybe they got board certified years ago and it's like, maybe they haven't found traction in their career. So yeah, the exam prep is included if you need it. We like really the way that I like to operate is, and I do this in my gyms, I do this with all of my businesses. It's like all or nothing. I want you to be committed so I can be committed. And so you join our program, you're a part of our program. We're going to give you whatever you need to be successful. If we need to meet one-on-one, if we need to meet, more often, I had this one young woman who was on social media on TikTok making a lot of content, and she was getting a lot of like leads through DMs and didn't really know how to handle those leads and pivot those leads into sales. And so literally she would send me screen grabs of all her DMs, and I would like text her back what to say and like coach her through how to pivot that into a sale. And then eventually she would be like, all right, here's what I'm going to say. What do you think? And so everybody needs something different at various points. And I don't want to ever be in a position where it's like, oh no, pay me $3 more and I can give you that piece of advice. It's like
Mm,
invest in your career, invest in a destination, and then we're going to work like hell to help you get to that destination. If your goal is to get to the other side of the forest, hire me as a guide, and I'm not going to leave your side until you're on the other side.
mhm.
Uh, that's sort of our approach.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think the personalization and the, creating an individualized path is so important. Obviously, we teach how to do that for nutrition. giving nutrition guidance to our clients. And I think it's just as you said, it's so important for someone who's got a business and is trying to build a business. So it sounds like, your program is very well thought out, very well organized, lots of great tools and strategies that you offer. Um, once someone is done with your program, do you have um, like one-off things that they can still keep connected with you? And because I imagine that once someone um, signs up as a client of yours, because of the passion that I feel when I'm talking to you, I imagine that they want to just keep learning from you for a really long time. So after their program is over, like do you have ways for people to stay connected or?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And like what I love about this conversation is like a lot of what I'm saying about our business, clinicians can apply to their business because it's like it's one and the same. We're helping someone get to a destination. At the end of the day, all businesses like operate with like core axiomatic similarities, and so yeah, absolutely. We primarily help people gain traction in their careers, and typically once they get that traction and their certification, it's like they leave the nest and they can fly on their own.
They're
But
on, yeah.
we have ways that people can stay engaged with our live sessions. They can stay engaged with our coaching. It's usually just through like a reduced monthly fee. It's like you don't need all of the stuff that we had to put into you at the beginning. And then, I mean, truly the best outcome. I absolutely love it when this happens, when they're like thriving in their career. It's like they're they just can't believe their reality. And then they're like, we high five, we part ways as friends, and then now we see them sort of like as a professional partner out in the world,
Right.
and we bring them back for guest lectures, and now it's like we're raising children to be our peers, and it's like the greatest joy in the world,
Yeah.
when that actually happens. So
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So what about someone who is not signed up on your program yet and they are currently struggling in their business? They're feeling stuck. Maybe they're not even a new grad, but they could be a new grad or they've been at it for, a while,
yeah.
6 months to a year, whatever, and they're feeling stuck. Like one thing before they sign up for to be a client of yours, one thing that you could give them as a piece of advice.
Yeah, I mean, one thing.
One
Get me
thing
to say one
you
thing.
can only do one thing.
Yeah. So that's literally why we created this like 30-day. We created a 30-day sort of like
Okay.
free
All right.
crash course that tells that it's like get unstuck on everything. It's
Okay.
like the one, if I had to say one thing, I would say keep moving. Keep moving. Stay alive. Life is a verb. Business has like you have to move to understand if you're in the wrong direction. It's like when I left the Navy, that was the right direction. I went into a cubicle, that was the wrong direction. But a step in the wrong direction is a step in the right direction over the course of a long enough timeline. And
Yeah.
so keep taking action, keep moving, and do so with a mindset of service and giving. And the world will generate reciprocity for you. Like you can think of it in like those abstract terms, but like truly be of service. And if you're stuck, find one person that you can help and just say,
Hmm.
can I help you? And then
Hmm.
offer to work with them. And then,
Hmm.
and then do that beyond. But I think primarily the reason why most people get stuck is they're trying to solve a future problem without having a foundation of problem solved preceding it. So it's like you're trying to solve a problem that's like far too advanced for where you are. And so
Hmm.
it's like you're trying to do algebra and you don't understand addition. You got to go all the way back and you got to build a foundation. And like very broadly speaking, one of the biggest foundations that you can build is truly understand what your values are. Like understand what you're doing this for. What is your like every business is like create your mission,
Yeah.
vision,
What's your
values.
why?
And it's good, but like truly, why? Like what is the point of this? And like when David and I first started, it was like, we want to help you create a profitable career. We want to help you make money. We want to help you do this. And it was like, that isn't it exactly. And it took us iteration. And then finally, what we realized is we want impact. Like I care so much that holistic nutrition becomes the standard of care in America. And the only way to do that, from my estimation, is to create thousands and thousands and thousands of competent practitioners who go out into the world who change the lives of their local communities. Like, how great is it that every one of your graduates is going to impact their family
I
and
know.
their kids? And those kids are going to be raised with your education. And that is
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable, the impact that you can have over the course of a lifetime. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like that's world changing impact.
Yep.
It's incredible. It's
Yep.
incredible. And we get to do that. And so understand your values, understand what you're doing this for, and then and then have something to sell. It's like have a way, have a mechanism to help people. Most people, the reason why they're not taking action is because somehow they feel like they're an imposter. Somehow they feel like they're not quite ready. Need
Yes.
another certification. Oh, I need a
Right.
little more training. Oh, I need to work with somebody. You do not have to wait until you can help everybody before you start helping
One,
somebody,
yeah, help one. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so have a mechanism for how you help people, and then go out and fill your calendar with free consultations and discovery calls. Like, if you're in line for Starbucks, if you're talking to your neighbor, if, like, everywhere you go, it should be like, oh, wow, that sounds amazing. Do you have an hour later this week where I can ask a lot more questions about what you're struggling with and what you're experiencing? Meet with somebody, ask them a million questions, get fully like get like wrap your entire world around what they're experiencing. And if you truly believe you can help them, then offer them the ability to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll just be shocked with the amount of opportunities that fall into your lap. And
Mm-hmm.
like a lie that a lot of people is like, oh, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to have to sell all the time. I don't want to. It's like, if you're really good at sales, it's not a sale, because it's mostly it's you meet me for a consultation. It's mostly it's like, seriously, mostly me trying to figure out why we shouldn't be working together. It's like me. It's like, no, you could probably do this on your own. No, I think you can probably do it like this. It's me, like, really, I don't know if you quite need what we do yet, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because,
Mm-hmm.
like, most people can do this on their own. Most people can, take some steps and figure it out. I don't need to work with everybody. I can't work with everybody. And also, there's going to be people listening to this who are like, man, that guy's so annoying. And good. I don't want to work with you. But there's also going to be people listening to this be like, oh my gosh, like, I heard that and that was like speaking directly to my soul. Great.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
we take cohorts of about 10 people. We work with about 40 people a year, and that's it. Like, that's our
Mm-hmm.
limit. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, I I sincerely hope that there's, hundreds of these types of consulting companies that help people create careers. And I hope that there's thousands of schools like the NTI, or the NTI grows so big that that's like a primary competitor to other educational sources. Like, I want so much abundance in this world for
Mm-hmm.
nutrition. No one in this world is a competitor. No one in this world is like, our competitors are Snickers bars and couches. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
You're right. You're right.
Like,
Yep.
so that's, if you're stuck, it's probably because you're looking at the problem wrong. You're probably focused on frustrations. Definitionally, the opposite of a frustration is an opportunity. So if you're stuck, write down all of your frustrations, and then literally write down the opposite of it. And that's an opportunity. And all you have to do, write your frustrations, write your opportunities, take one action that you think might move you closer to realizing those opportunities.
Love it. That's awesome. Um, Yeah, and thanks for bringing up your free 30-day mini course, because we will definitely put that in the show notes. So I
Cool.
appreciate you offering that. All
Sure.
right, so as we get to the end here, I don't want to take too much more time out of your day. You are obviously a very passionate and energetic human being, have sounds like multiple pots going, multiple businesses going. Um, but everybody needs something to support themselves. So what do you do in your own life to keep yourself going and to keep yourself healthy, and what's really important to you in your own personal life.
Yeah, that's great. I've got a beautiful little kiddo. I was going to show you a picture, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to put his face all over the internet. But
Yeah.
he's 3 years old. He's super cool. He's awesome. I get to be his dad. Like, it's so like I have a career that is flexible enough where for the first years of his life I was his primary caretaker. My wife works from home, but I got to play with him for the majority of the day. I get to be in his life. We get to run around this forest and explore things. I get to go back there and like plant a bunch of ginseng and forest
Mhm.
medicinals because we can't grow a
Nice.
traditional garden.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and so I get to do all that. I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I probably like wine a little too much, so I indulge in that a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think like what's great about the life that I've been able to create for myself is that when I work with my businesses, I'm not doing much work that I don't like doing. And so
Mhm.
like it's harder when you're first getting started, but once you start gaining some traction, like one of the things that you need to be thinking about as an entrepreneur is replacing yourself as quickly as possible in jobs that you're not uniquely qualified to do. And so most people listening are the practitioner. So they need to free up all of their time so that they can practition, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I like to think about this as like circles. There's like things that I love to do that I am uniquely gifted to do. And then there's a circle of things that I hate to do that a lot of people can do. And I
Mhm.
need to push things out of my circle of unique competence and push things into the circle of other people can do them. And then I need to find other people whose circle of passion is I get to do this. So
Mhm.
I have an admin person who works for a lot of my businesses. She loves admin emails. She loves repetitive tasks. She's an ISTJ. She just is a little robot who's great.
Mhm.
Loves it. She gets to do that. And then
Mhm.
she gets to turn her brain off and be a mom and she loves it. And
Mhm.
so I find partners that I get the opportunity to work with and I hire them in roles that they love to do and I try to multiply my impact and vision by finding people who align with the vision and who have a skill set that helps me. And so the majority of my day is spent talking with people, helping them do things that I love to do. And then when I turn that off, spend time with the family and with the wife. And um, yeah, I guess
That's
fundamentally
awesome.
that's how I recharge.
That's awesome. That's great. That is such great advice for anyone really to choose to do the things that you really want to do and that you're really uniquely qualified to do, and find the right person who can do the other things. That is awesome advice. I mean, you could apply that in, a personal relationship. You know,
Oh yeah.
in my house, I do most of the cooking because that's something I'm uniquely qualified to do. My husband does all the laundry. So-
It's funny. My wife and I are the exact opposite. I do most of the cooking and love it, and she loves to do the laundry, and
yeah.
laundry is the bane of my existence. I would, if I had enough money, I would just buy new clothes whenever they expire.
Yeah, no, my husband loves to do laundry. He likes the
It's cool.
methodical folding and doing all that kind of stuff. So he's very good at doing laundry.
Yeah, and like with that idea, you get to build a business that you want to be the owner of, you know?
Right.
If you're an entrepreneur, everything that is happening in your life is because of a decision that you made. Like like everything. If you're unhappy, it's because you made yourself unhappy. How can you improve your situation? And it's like, oh, you don't want to have clients texting you all the time, 24/7, emailing you, asking you a ton of questions. Like, then don't set up your business to be like that.
Right.
Like, I hate answering emails, so I tell people to text and call me. And so I would rather deal with text and calls than come to six emails that I'm not going to answer. And
Right.
so like my business would drive another person mad and your business would drive me mad. And that's great because there's not a one size fits all approach to this thing. And the last thing, all right, so one quick thing. All right. So I
Yeah.
mentioned frustrations. Frustrations are opportunities. Okay. So an entrepreneur should meditate on two feelings. They should meditate on frustrations and they should meditate on procrastination. If you're constantly tuning into what's frustrating you, then you're constantly realizing where the opportunities are for you to improve your life and your business. I'm frustrated that I don't have time for my clients. Why? The opportunity is for me to have more time for my clients. What needs to be true for me to have more time with my clients? Oh, uh, my son needs to take a nap, or I need to put him in preschool, or it's like I need to it's a mechanism for you to get to the core factor that's causing that frustration, and the opportunity is you solving it. And so if you meditate and you focus on your frustrations on a daily basis, it's going to guide you to the things that you need to be doing to improve your situation. The other thing that you need to focus on is when you procrastinate. If you're an entrepreneur and you're procrastinating, it's because of one of two reasons. It's because you're trying to do something that you've done 1,000 times and you really don't want to do. That needs to be
Mm-hmm.
outsourced. That you need to
Mm-hmm.
find another way to solve that problem that doesn't include your chore, because that's what it's become. And if you do
Yeah.
anything as a chore, you're not going to do it well, and you're not going to do it with love, and you're not going to do it with a mindset of service. Okay. The real reason why most entrepreneurs are procrastinating is because they're at the edge of their capability and they don't know what to do. And so
Yep.
you don't know what to do, you're not going to take a step in any direction because you don't know. And so procrastinations need to lead us to a who can help me get unstuck. Okay, whether it's a coach, whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's a guru, whether it's a person that you can talk to ask their opinion, you need to ask somebody who's been there before. Like, and that's the same with nutrition. It's like if you're stuck, you need to find somebody who can help you get unstuck. So procrastinations lead you to who can help me? Who can I hire to do the job, or who can I hire to advise to move me forward?
Mm-hmm.
Procrastinations are who solutions. Frustrations
I love
are
that.
what solutions. What do
Wow.
I need to do? Where do I need to focus my attention? What problem do I need to solve so that I can orient my life in a better way?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Profound words. Wow. That's awesome. Well, I could talk to you for forever, but I realize that we probably need to wrap it up. So, um, you know, I just want to express my gratitude for you taking the time to be here and to be so engaged and engaging. This is a really awesome conversation. So please tell our listeners and our audience where to find you, because I'm sure that our students and graduates are going to want to definitely look into your program.
Yeah, for sure. So it's holisticconsultinghq.com. So holistic consulting, there'll be two C's that are awkward to type, and then hq.com. And then yeah, I'll find a link. You can contact me through there, and I can send you the link to the 30-day course, and then I can give it to you and give a link there. And yeah, it's totally free. The the thing that we want is we want to get you to a point in your career where you can afford a mentorship, where you can afford to.
Yes.
So it's like I don't want you to jump off the cliff and trust us. I want you to work with us, get established, get a few clients, get some initial traction, and then have the money coming into your business to then invest in your career. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, don't build your career out of debt. Make some initial traction, use that to take the next step, use that to take the next step, use that to take the next step, and constantly reinvest in yourself. And so the first step that you can take to invest in yourself is commit to this 30-day thing. It is everything we've got. Truly, my hope is that you go through that 30-day, you extract all the value you possibly can, you go off, you change the world, and then like 30 years later, you send me an email and saying like, from a yacht off the coast of Italy, that one 30-day course changed my life, and I just wanted to send this thank you note and maybe a bottle of wine.
Yeah, right.
And
Exactly.
so, yeah, anyway.
Great. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely put that link for our audience. And once again, Sean, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And if you guys like it, let the world know, and I'd be more than happy to come back.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
All right. Thanks. Bye. Hi. Diane Kaler here again. If you found this conversation interesting and haven't already become a student at NTI, check us out at ntischool.com. We hope to see you soon.